We're going to solve a quadratic equation using factoring. So factoring is useful because we can get to the solutions by figuring out what x needs to be to become 0. So for this first question, what can go into all three terms? Not an x, but we can pull a 5 out. 5, and then this would be the trinomial x squared plus 25 divided by 5 is 5, minus 180 divided by 5 is 36. So we factored a 5 out, but this is still a trinomial. And so we need to do the x game. Negative 36 is our c. Positive 5 is our b. What can we multiply to get a negative number? That's a positive and a negative. And the positive needs to be 5 bigger than the negative because 5 is going to win. And so the two numbers that work here are 9 and 4. And it's going to be a positive 9 and a negative 4. So we can finally write out this equation. 5 times that plus 9 means x plus 9 times x minus 4. Now, the solutions to this is not here. This is the factors of 5x squared plus 25x minus 180. The solution is what x would need to be to make this whole thing equal to 0. And so we need to multiply something by 0 to make that work. So 5, obviously, is on the outside. There's no way to multiply him by 0. But on the inside, what would I need to add to 9 to make this a 0? Negative 9. So this is a negative 9. We added 9. That would be 0 times 5, which is 0, times this, which would end up being 0 as well. So that's one solution. Our second solution, what would x need to be to make this 0? 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. And I'm going to say and or. It's a quadratic equation. It's going to be two solutions, so one of those solutions. All right, our next quadratic equation, I can factor out a 2. And this is a difference of squares. There's no b. So this is going to become an x plus 6 or minus 6. So we can have a positive or negative 6 as our solution. All right, next guy, negative 4x squared minus 16x minus 16. I'm going to factor out a negative 4, which is going to swap the signs for everything on the inside. And so now when we do the x game, what can we multiply to 4 that adds to 4? That's 2. So this is going to be x plus 2 squared with the negative 4 on the outside. And so there's just one solution. A negative 2 would make this a 0. All right, let's factor out the next guy. Negative 3. We need to make this a 1. Oh, and an x. An x can get pulled out of both. So negative 3x. Well, let me rewrite this. Negative 3x. So what do we have left? We have a 1x left over. And then we flip the sign because we pulled out a negative 3. 3 times 4. And so we can actually be done here. Since we already pulled out the x, we have our solution. It can be a 0. It could also be a 4. Okay, because if we plug the 0 in here, this would be 0. 0 times 0 minus 4, negative 4. This becomes 0. Plug a 4 up here. 4 minus 4 is 0. This would also make it a 0. And now our last equation. A is not 1 here. There's no way to factor out the 3 because 3 can't go into 2 and become a whole number. So we do the slip and slide. We do 3 times 2, which is 6. What can I multiply to 6 to add to 5? That's 3 and 2. Divide both of the our factors by a, which is 3. And simplify if necessary. So 3 over 3 is 1. And so now we can just rewrite our whole thing as an equation. This is 3 times x plus 1 times x plus 2/3. So x would need to be -1. And x would need to be -2/3.